The entirety of Africa had a problem. You see, there was no way to send money across different African countries. If you're sending money from Nigeria to Ghana, you first have to convert that money to dollar before converting to Ghanaian cedis. And so these guys decided to solve that problem and they built a company. $3 billion valuation in 5 years, processing payments in 150 currencies across 34 African countries. This is how Flutterwave became Africa's payments backbone. Payments across Africa was a nightmare because there was no currency that united the continent. Every country had its own system, had its own banks and its own regulations. If you wanted to do business across Africa, say example, you went to send money to someone in Ethiopia, you first have to convert your naira to dollar, then from dollar to Ethiopian currency. You needed separate accounts, multiple integrations, and endless paperwork. For online businesses in Africa, receiving payment was almost impossible. Olugbenga Agboola aka GB and Iyinoluwa Aboyeji both founded Flutterwave in 2016. GB had worked in payments at PayPal and Standard Bank, and all through this process, he saw how fragmented African payment was. Iyinoluwa had co-founded Andela and understood the frustration of African startups. Together with Adeleke Adekoya, they decided to build the payment infrastructure for Africa that Africa desperately needed. But at the time, investors were skeptical. African fintech was very risky. Flutterwave built an API that allowed businesses to accept payments from anywhere in Africa. Cards, mobile money, bank transfers, all through one integration. They started signing up Nigerian startups, then e-commerce platforms, then airlines and hotels. Uber, Booking.com, Jumia, all of them started to use Flutterwave. And by 2019, they were processing $2 billion annually and were expanding into 15 countries. But scaling across Africa was brutal. Every country had different currencies, different regulations, and different compliance requirements. They faced fraud attacks, system downtime, and regulatory scrutiny. In 2022, Kenyan authorities even froze their account over money laundering concerns. And of course, they were later cleared. Trust was everything, and one mistake could destroy the entire business. Even in 2020, when COVID hit, transaction volume collapsed, and competitors like Paystack, that was later bought by Stripe, was catching up. The breakthrough came with partnership. They partnered with MasterCard, Visa, Alipay, PayPal to offer global payment options. They raised close to $500 million from investors, becoming one of Africa's most valuable startups. Businesses realized Flutterwave wasn't just a payment processor, it was infrastructure enabling African commerce. Today, Flutterwave operates in 34 African countries and processes $16 billion in annual transactions. They are valued at over $3 billion and serve over 1 million businesses. From small startups to global giants, everyone uses Flutterwave. They've made African payments simple. And so, from Lagos to $3 billion valuation, that's the Flutterwave story. So, what payment processor do you use for your own business?